ABC 10 News at 11 starts now.
They were supposed to share a debate stage tonight. Instead, President Trump and Joe Biden held separate town halls in battleground states on different networks. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt. ABC 10 News reporter Anthony Pura has highlights from both town halls. Anthony.
Even though there were two different town halls, two different locations, there were issues that were so important to many Americans that they were brought up to both candidates. President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden held two separate town halls Thursday. Biden was in Philadelphia in an event hosted by ABC News. He was asked several questions about the pandemic, like whether he would mandate Americans to take a vaccine for the coronavirus.
Depending on the continuation of the spread of the virus, we should be thinking about making it mandatory.
How could you enforce that?
Well, you couldn't. That's the problem. Just like you can't enforce measles. You can't come to school unless you have a measles shot.
The president also answered questions about the pandemic in a town hall event in Miami, hosted by another network. The president was asked whether he expects Congress to pass another stimulus bill.
Did you ever hear of a word called negotiation? We're negotiating, okay?
But people's lives are hanging in the balance.
And you know who I'm negotiating against? Nancy Pelosi, because she doesn't want to give the money. We should have stimulus.
The president was asked about filling the vacant Supreme Court seat during an election year.
When I was elected, and when a president is elected, they're elected for a period of 4 years. And Justice Ginsburg said it best, I think, talking about President Obama having to do with somebody else, that the president is put there for 4 years, not for 3 years.
During his town hall, Biden was asked whether he would pack the court.
No matter what answer I gave you, if I say it, that's the headline tomorrow. It won't be about what's going on now, the improper way they're proceeding.
But don't voters have a right to know where you stand?
They do have a right to know where I stand, and they'll have a right to know where I stand before they vote.
So you'll come out with a clear position before Election Day?
Yes, depending on how they handle this.
Both were asked to explain their positions on police reform.
We have a senator named Tim Scott from South Carolina. He came up with a bill that should have been approved. It was great. It was a bill that was strong in terms of law enforcement and strong in terms of enforcing the proper thing and doing the proper thing by law enforcement.
We shouldn't be defunding cops. We should be mandating the things that we should be doing within police departments and make sure there's total transparency.
Anthony Pura, ABC 10 News.
The final debate between President Trump and Joe Biden is set for next Thursday, October 22nd at Belmont University in Nashville. The Trump administration denied a request from Governor Newsom for a presidential disaster declaration for California. The disaster relief funds were aimed at cleaning up the damage from the state's 6 most recent fires. That includes LA County's Bobcat Fire and Fresno County's Creek Fire. A reason has not been given for why the request was denied. President Trump has threatened to withhold federal aid from the state unless forest management plans were put in place. Turning now to the latest on coronavirus in San Diego County, 143 new cases reported today, bringing our total to 51,470. And 3 new deaths were reported, bringing that total to 847. A local strip club where Padres player Tommy Pham was stabbed is now closed. Pacers is closed for the second night in a row after a cease and desist letter from the county for being in violation of the health order. Our ABC 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo shows us there is a way the business can stay open.
Well, the parking lot here at Pacers is empty and their doors are closed. Just on Monday, our cameras were here and the business was open. Now the county's cease and desist order is on their door. Just days after Pacers was swarmed with police responding to a stabbing, it's now temporarily closed. This is the warning from the county public health officer, Dr. Wilma Wooten, to Pacers Showgirls International. The letter states that during a recent inspection by San Diego police, it was documented that Pacers was, quote, conducting live entertainment in violation of the county health order. The letter explains that based on the health order and San Diego County's current tier status, restaurants may operate for outdoor dining or indoor dining at only 25% capacity, but that live entertainment must discontinue. According to its website, Pacers does serve food. The cease and desist order comes just days after Padres outfielder Tommy Pham was stabbed in the back outside the Gentlemen's Club. Pham was hospitalized and is now home, expected to make a full recovery. A spokesperson for SDPD explained that Pacers doesn't need to shut down if they're operating as a restaurant. The violation exists if they have the live entertainment portion. The police spokesperson says they hope the owners will comply voluntarily, but will be following up with future inspections like they are with other establishments. If found in violation, they could face a fine of $1,000 for each violation. The county public health officer can also issue an order to close the facility. ABC 10 News reached out to Pacers several times for comment and so far have not heard back. Laura Acevedo, ABC 10 News.
New tonight, deputies need your help looking for a driver suspected of following a 9-year-old boy in Santee. Here is the minivan involved. The incident happened on Wednesday just before 5 p.m. The child told deputies he was walking home on Trail Ridge Avenue when the driver asked him to get into the van and go to a community pool. The boy refused and walked away. Anyone with information is asked to call the sheriff's department. Multiple agencies have released video showing a deadly shooting of a man involved in a high-speed chase. It happened on October 3rd when the suspect refused to stop in Orange County and drove 90 minutes south to Chula Vista. We have frozen several images because the video is too graphic to show. It shows the suspect, Christopher Ulmer, pointing his right arm at officers from behind his car door with something in his right hand. CHP and San Diego police officers opened fire, hitting Ulmer. He fell, but then he got back up and he raised his right arm again. That's when officers shot and killed him. The object that Ulmer pointed at officers was later found not to be a gun. The officers involved have been placed on routine leave during an investigation. And if you would like to see the full video, we have posted it on 10news.com. A Border Patrol agent and an undocumented immigrant had to be rescued after suffering a heat-related illness on Otay Mountain. This happened this afternoon while Border Patrol was in the area looking for 3 people in distress. Agents are still searching for the 2 other people. And we are now in the final days to register to vote in the November election, and we're answering your questions, such as what is the difference between a registered voter and a conditional voter? ABC 10 News anchor Derek Stahl is going in depth on this relatively new feature of election law.
Circle your calendar. The deadline to register to vote is this Monday, October 19th. You can do so quickly on sdvote.com if you've moved recently or if this is your first time voting. However, if you do miss that October 19th deadline, you do have a backup way of registering and voting.
It's called conditional voter registration.
San Diego County Registrar Michael Vu says conditional voter registration is a way of signing up in person at a voting location all the way up to the final day to cast a ballot, November 3rd.
They would register and then go over and receive their ballot and vote that same day.
California started allowing conditional or same-day registration in 2017, and it's one of 21 states to do so. In other states, if you don't register in advance, you cannot vote. Basically, you just provide your driver's license or social security number to prove you're eligible, along with your address and other information. From October 20th to October 30th, San Diegans can register conditionally by visiting the Registrar of Voters office in Kearny Mesa. Starting October 31st, polling places will open, and voters can register conditionally and cast a ballot there. But you'll want to go to the polling place assigned to your address. You can find that on sdvote.com. There's one thing to keep in mind, though, if you do go the conditional route.
Those individuals who exercise that option would be voting a provisional ballot.
A provisional ballot is just a ballot that's placed in an extra envelope with a little more information from the voter, so election workers can do an added layer of verification before it's counted. And that takes time.
Generally, they are counted last.
There are some other instances when voters might have to cast a provisional ballot, like if you go to the wrong polling place or if you want to vote in person and forget to bring your mail-in ballot.
It's so important for individuals who are going to vote provisionally to clearly mark and fill out the back of the provisional envelope so we can read it and so we can determine whether or not you're in fact a registered voter or not a registered voter.
With conditional voters, election workers will first verify that the person is eligible to vote. Then they'll make sure they haven't voted already before adding their ballot to the final count. Nearly 2,400 San Diegans used conditional voter registration in the 2018 midterm. Derek Stahl, ABC 10 News.
It's not too late to register. You have until Monday at midnight. In-person voting begins October 31st at all of the county's 235 polling places, and Election Day is November 3rd. Tonight, the California Republican Party is pushing back against state officials. Republicans say they won't remove unofficial ballot boxes deemed illegal by the Secretary of State. Boxes were placed in LA, Orange, and Fresno counties. The GOP was ordered to remove them by today. Instead, the party plans to expand the program. It maintains the boxes comply with California's ballot laws, allowing people to collect ballots from voters and return them to election offices. The Secretary of State says they don't qualify because they're not supervised.